Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on time, and thank you for participating to this webinar. The main purpose of this webinar is to help you to prepare your application to our program, our doctorate in business administration program. Okay, I am Professor Michel Kalika. I am Emeritus Professor from French University, and I am President, Founder of the Business Science Institute. And thank you to Yasmin who prepared this webinar. And you can, of course, ask us any question at this address, contact@businessscienceinstitute.com. Okay, the agenda of this webinar will be the following: a few words on Business Science Institute that you maybe know, the DBA program, what is the process of selection, do you have the right profile to apply, how to apply, how to build your CV, your research proposal. I will say also some word about the cover letter, and some advice to read maybe before the meeting of selection. So first of all, a few words about Business Science Institute. You know, it's always important to be aware about the institution where you candidate, where you send your application. The Business Science Institute has been created 10 years ago at the beginning to meet the demand of manager holding an MBA or an equivalent degree. And this manager, they wanted to take a step back from their managerial experience. They wanted to reflect, they wanted to write articles, books, to publish, to make conferences, eventually to teach in business school or in university, not on a full-time basis, but to give some lecture. That's what the initial idea. And we know that traditional PhD programs are not adapted to this demand. That's why we created the Business Science Institute. We have only one program. We are an international academic network organization. As I just said, we focus on DBA, true DBA for managers. We are a non-for-profit organization established 10 years ago. We are an association. And that's very important. We are one of the 10 AMBA accredited DBAs since 3 years now. We have more than 235 doctoral students. The average age of our students is 45, 46, depending on the year. We have a very large experience about DBA. We opened 60 groups in 11 countries. Our students come from 50 different nationalities, and we teach face-to-face, but also on a remote mode, on a distance learning format. What is important to highlight is the number of theses defended, because for us, what is important is not the application, not the registration. What is important for us is the success, the defense at the end of the process. And for example, at the end of the month, so we will have plus 30 new defenses in September 23. In Business Science Institute, we count more than 150 professors. 80 of them are supervising theses and giving lecture and courses. That's essential. That's a tricky point because, you know, in a DBA, what is essential, what is very important, of course, is the supervisor. No supervisor, no thesis, no DBA. So that's why we are an academic institution created by faculty for DBA students. We teach in French, in English, in German, and very soon in Spanish, face-to-face and online. We have published more than 55 books, all in relation with the DBA program in a specific collection, the Business Science Institute collection, with a print version of the books and online version. Also, you can find the book everywhere online, on Amazon, or on the website of the editor or the publisher. We have a strong partnership with the French Public University of Lyon, IAE, the business school of the university. And we deliver double degree, the degree of Business Science Institute and the university, after the defense of the thesis, deliver its own degree, its DBA degree signed by the president of the university. We have also a partnership for one group, the group in Sustainable Innovation Management. It's a partnership with ICN. ICN is a business school, a triple crown, with the famous 3 accreditation, AMBA, ACSB, and EQUIS. Our program is very affordable compared to equivalent program accredited, and you can find all the information on our website. Our program is, that's important when you prepare your application, when you prepare the interview. Maybe you will have some question about the program. We have, we have a list of criteria, and we try to check if the candidate really know the program, nearly has been on the website, has been listening the video, understand what is the true purpose of the program. So it's a 3-stage program. First step, it is the first year. It's five seminar to better identify the research topic and to identify also the research supervisor. The second step, stage 2, is about the collect of the information, the writing, reading the paper under the supervision of experienced professor. And stage 3, you finish your thesis, you finish the writing of the thesis, you prepare your defense, and the defense is in front of an international jury panel of examiners. And at the end of the journey, you receive 2 degrees, the one of Business Science Institute, which is AMBA accredited, and the one of the University of Lyon, or the one of ICN, the business school. What is the process to register? All the process is online. The process is simple, available, and very rigorous. The first step is you send your CV. I will explain you what is important in the CV. You send the CV to the support team, and you have very quickly, 1 or 2 days, you have a feedback. Either it's a positive feedback telling you, yes, you can apply, you can send the document for application. Either the answer is negative, and we want you not to work if you have no chance to be eligible at the end of the interview. So in case of positive answer, you complete your formal application online. We will see how, and the application is on our website. When the application is, when we have all the document, the support team, Yasmin, check all the document that you send. And when she receive all the document, she asks to a professor of the program to organize, or two professor, to organize an interview. It's a formal interview with a jury. The interview lasts 30 minutes. And at the end of the interview, the professor has to write a summary and suggest a decision, which is taken by the International Scientific Committee. If the answer is positive, you receive the answer quite quickly, because all the process is managed online. If you receive a positive answer after the interview, you register at the same time in Business Science Institute and in IAE Lyon. It means that all the documents that you send are communicated to the University of Lyon. Our process is the same process for Business Science Institute and for the University of Lyon. It's simple. So do you have the right, first point, you have the right profile. We have two formal conditions. 5 years of managerial experience. It's a minimum, but in fact, in a DBA program, the people who are coming very often, they have 10, 15, 20 years, sometimes 30 years of experience. I just told you before that the average age is 45, 46. It means that the program is not for young students who just receive your master degree. You need to have a minimum 5 years of managerial experience. The reason is you need this experience because the DBA is strongly embedded in your experience. And if you have no managerial experience, it will be very difficult to manage a DBA. And the second formal condition is an MBA, Master of Business Administration, or a degree equivalent. Sometimes students have very long experience and sometimes not the equivalence of the MBA. And so we study each case. We have some exception to this rule, but that's a two formal condition that we respect because we are AMBA accredited and we respect some rules. First point in the process, you send us your CV. You must understand that your CV that is sent at the following address, which is on my slide, you must understand that your CV has to be clear. We have a look, I have a look, my colleague, they have a look on the CV. And at the beginning of the CV, we advise you a brief summary giving the following information. What is your current profession, your position, your company, the country where you live, the country where you work? The number of experience, number of years of experience, of managerial experience. Qualification, which degree you hold. And that's the main point that we want to understand at the beginning of your CV. And then you can give us a detail. But, the way you build your CV is important because if the CV is clear, we understand that we have in front of us students that worked before and understand very well our process. The CV is the first step. And very often, of course, you receive, because our conditions are very clear, so very often we answer positively to the CV. The application form, it is the second step. You need to complete two documents. One document is for Business Science Institute, and another document is for IAE's Lyon School of Management. It's here formal information about you, where you live, your address, what is your age, the date of birth, and so on. Okay, that's not very complicated. And then you go to the application dossier, to what we call the application. And that's important to understand that before the interview, the application should be complete. So there is the Business Science Institute application form, the detailed CV, all the documents are in PDF, and you have number for all the documents, so it's easier for us for the management of your application. A digital photo, the highest level qualification. We need a copy, not of all the degree, but the highest level of qualification, generally master, degree of engineer, MBA, copy of your passport, MBA marks, transcript from your MBA program or equivalent. The 7th point is very important. Before that, it was more formal point. It's the proposed DBA thesis topic. It's a document, and I will come back on that, from 3 to 5 pages, not very long, but that's very important because the DBA is a research program. So you must convince the jury that you know what is a research program, and I will come back on that. Then you have the cover letter, very important also. I will come back on that in a minute. Employer certificate. Here we need to tell you an information. Sometimes you don't want your employers, you don't want your company to be aware about your application. That's your right. So just tell us. And in that case, you will not produce, we will not ask an employer's certificate, but just specify it that your application is confidential. Document number 10 is the application form of IAE. And then 11, it's the copy of the fees for the application that you send through PayPal, transfer, or so on. You see that with the support team. The cover letter. The cover letter is an important part of the process. In the cover letter, we need to understand what is your motivation. The motivation can be personal, the motivation can be professional. And I say that it's very important because success of the process is correlated to motivation. You know, frankly speaking, to prepare a DBA, it's not tourism, it's not holidays. You will have to work a lot. And based on our experience, and our experience is related to 400 DBA students, 400 managers who have been through or who are through Business Science Institute. So it's a very large experience of DBA. Based on our experience, the success is correlated to the motivation. And here, in the letter of motivation, talk right frankly. I mean, don't say, I want to prepare a DBA to create knowledge. No, it's a generic answer. You know, some people, they told us, I want to prepare a DBA to have the title of doctor because my parents are doctor. Sometimes it's a kind of motivation. Some other can tell me, I am consultant, and for a consultant to be a doctor, to have published a book, it's very important. Other kind of motivation, people working in business school told me, you know, in business school, I work with faculty hold doctorate. So I need also this level. I need to understand what is research. So speak frankly, because we need to understand your motivation, and it's a criteria of selection. Then another piece of the process is the research proposal. Keep in mind that it's a proposal, it's not a contract. It means that what you will write here, it's not a kind of it's not mandatory. You can change in the future your topic, the way you will deal with this topic. But what we will find, what we expect to find in the research proposal. First of all, that's very clear, a title of the research project. You must specify which will be the area of research. Important for us, you must explain us what is the managerial interest of your research. And maybe here you can also explain why you selected this research topic. Because it is related to your experience, because it's a thematic that you face in your company, in your industry. Explain why you selected this topic. That can be also a kind of motivation. Then you give us the works that are related to this topic. We call it bibliography. Of course, at this step, we don't expect a very long bibliography. And again, be frank. Don't put a list of books or articles you didn't read. No, just say what you have been reading before. Explain us. And if you didn't make any reading, it's not an obstacle. We will help you to find the good references. And then at the end, of course, the bibliography. So the research proposal is important for us. Why? The research proposal is important for us. Here you have exactly the same thing that I presented before. It's important for us because we must understand, we must be sure that you know the difference between an MBA project and a DBA thesis. In an MBA project, you will answer to a managerial issue, a managerial question. In a DBA thesis, you will do the same, but you will have a background of theory, of concept. So we need to understand that, okay, you have been managing MBA project before, and you know that a DBA is something different. A process, a DBA, it's a process during which you will collect information coming from the field, from the industry, and you will read theory, and you will fill the gap between practice and theory. Okay. We want to see if you are able to write. You personally, of course, no plagiarism, no copy and paste, not at this step and not in the future. We want to know what is, we must be sure that you know what is a methodology of research, the way you are thinking about collecting information. More important is the link between your topic and your experience. In a DBA program, you work on a topic which is related to your experience. That's an important issue because your position in the future will allow you to collect information. So we want to check that the relation between the topic and your experience. You have seen that the research proposal is not contractual. It means that it may change and it may evaluate. That's, that's the purpose of the program. We don't expect you, the research proposal, that you will put on the table after 1 year or after 1 year and a half. No. We just want to check that you know what is a DBA. Then there is the application fee that you have to pay for application. You make online payment on the platform. And when it is done, you send the evidence approved to the support team. You can pay by PayPal or by bank transfer. And you can have any information on that with the support team. And then there is the interview. If you have the time, maybe it's good before the interview to read the first book that we publish, How to Successfully Complete Your DBA. It's a 100 pages book, available online in French, available in French, in English, in German also, in Chinese also. Here, it's a good way because, you know, good way to build your application, to show us that you know where you want to go and how you want to go to the end of the process. Another book which can be useful at the beginning, but also during the process, it's a book written by our doctor. Our doctor prepared a book which title is Doctor Advertising Doctoral Students. And you have very useful advices here. We have also a book on the DBA thesis project. You don't need to read it before the application. You will read it after the admission. There is another book that we publish in English and in French very recently. In English, the title is The Doctor of Business Administration, Taking Your Professional Practice to the Next Level. In French, The Doctor of Business Administration, Valorisez votre pratique professionnelle. This book has been written by 8 AMBA program, and we explain what is a DBA. The interview. Generally, 1 week, 2 weeks after the submission of your application, a very formal interview, half an hour, will take place with a professor, who is generally the academic coordinator. It's a senior member of the faculty. The support team will contact you to fix the date and the time, the hours of this interview. In this interview, I can say that we have a list of criteria. These criteria are related to what I explained before. Generally, during the interview, we first ask you a summary of your professional experience. Then we ask you a summary of your academic background. Then we ask you your motivation. Then we ask you your experience in the field of research. Did you wrote before any thesis, any document? How many pages? What was the subject? We ask you also about your family. Is your husband, your wife, your children, are they aware about your project? Because you will need their support. Do you have the support of your family? It will be a question that we will ask. We will also ask you about your professional situation, how you will manage the balance between professional constraints, personal constraints, and the DBA project. Have you been thinking about that? Because we want you not to register. We want you to succeed at the end of the process. And we will ask you also some question, how you will be the financing, the funding of the program, personal or by a company. We will also ask you some question about the languages, English languages. And that's the main point. It lasts half an hour. At the end, you can ask any question to the faculty member. And at the end of the story, at the end of the interview, he will have an opinion. He will share this opinion with the member of the scientific committee. That's the process. That's not a very complicated process. We try to make it simple. We are available before the process. It means that you can ask to the support team, you can ask to Yasmin any question by email, by chat, by Zoom. You can also ask if you have any pedagogical question, scientific question. You can also ask an appointment with me or with a faculty member. That's always, we are always available to advise our students to make them doing the good choice, the relevant choice. So now I am ready to answer your question. The first, we have a question. The first question. Okay, it's about you have the answer. It's about the fee. The fees are on the website. The fees are for the 4 years of the program because all the AMBA accredited program are on 4 years. In fact, the program, the average length of the program is the average length before the defense is 3.5 years. Some defend, the defense take place when the thesis is ready. But formally for AMBA, which is the accreditation body, one of the most important accreditation body in the world, it's 4 years. There is a question about, it's a question not about the application, but it's about the supervisor. One of our characteristics is that we have a very large pool of faculty members, and so they are able to supervise your thesis, whatever the subject. And we have very diverse. You must know that we have very diverse subject in the application. It could be green supply chain. It could be Islamic rules in the retail market. It could be financing of the project. It could be digital marketing field. It could be in human resource management field. Whatever the subject, we are able to identify a supervisor. That's very important. That's our main characteristic. We have another question about the length of the application. It's very short. When the application is ready, in 1 or 2 weeks, the interview can be organized and you have the result of the interview a few days after. sometime 2 days after it. There is another question. When do we have to send the application? Before the beginning of the program, and it depends of the group you are targeting. We have different group. We have face-to-face group in different town, in Paris, in Geneva, in different town in Africa, in China, in Bangkok, in Luxembourg. Okay. So face-to-face, before we open a group, you need to send, of course, your application generally 1 month before the beginning. It's a minimum. And you have on our website the date of the beginning of the face-to-face group. For distance learning, for online learning, it's different. Because for online learning, you can begin the process when you want. But there is a distinction in the online learning between two kinds of groups. For example, the group with ICN on Sustainable Innovation Management is online, but the professors are online. In other group, the courses are recorded. When the professors are online, we have a beginning. For example, for the group with ICN, we will begin in November, if I remember well. For the online process that we have also, you can begin in November, in January, in February, because you receive all the stuff to work. All the material has been recorded before. And then you have meeting with the faculty, with the professor, each time you finish a course. So it depends on you. Let me check if we have another question. The rate of success for the applicant, well, we are very clear on our website, and we try to be clear on the information that we receive. So it means that the students who does not correspond to the profile we are looking for, they don't apply. So it means that the rate of success in the application is a reasonable rate, really high rate. But the interview is a way to check that you know in which program you are going to work. And that's important. My advice, my personal advice is be clear on the letter of motivation. Explain in your research proposal why you want to work on this subject and how you think you will work on it. And if you don't know, you say, I don't know. And we will help you in the future. That's why we are here. And my last advice is always talk frankly. It's not an examination. It's a selection process. We want you to take the good decision and to select the good program. Oh, there is a question on the cost. The cost is on the website. It depends sometime on the format of the program. You must know that the cost is for 4 years, and our program is very affordable compared to other accredited programs. And take care, you have to select an accredited program. That's very important. It is the value of your future degree. And of course, the fact that you will hold a degree from an accredited institution from a public university, from ICN, a 3-star, 3 Triple Crown Business School for the Sustainable Innovation Management Group. That's quite important, for you in the future. Okay, I think that we have finished. Do you have any other question? Anyway, if you have any other question, you have one email, which is on this slide, contact@business-science-institute.com, and you will receive, generally in less than 24 hours, you will receive an answer. Remind also that you can ask to the support team if you have other questions. If you hesitate, you can ask and in a meeting with me. For example, if you hesitate on the format, face-to-face, online, or if you hesitate on a general group and a specialized group. I talked several times about sustainable innovation management, but we have some specialization. Until now, it's in French, for example, in health management, in real estate, in public management. And so sometimes you hesitate. I will be always available for you to help you to take the good decision. So bye-bye. Thank you for being on time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your question. See you soon.